Hi everyone, my name is Lori Degman. I'm a picture book author and I have 6 picture books published and I wanted to share them with you. I'll be sharing them on YouTube in chronological order, which means that it'll be in the order in which they were released. And the last one I'll read will be Travel Guide for Monsters, which actually comes out April 15th, so I'll read it on its book birthday. Before I get started reading, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about how One Zany Zoo became a book. That's my first book. So normally you would send in, and my other books went this way, I send in submissions and I ask if editors want to make my story into a book. And most of the time they say no, but sometimes they say yes, and that's how I got 6 books. But this one was different because I had sent out letters to editors, and I kept getting rejections, which means they said, no, we don't want to make your story into a picture book. So I kept trying, and in the meanwhile, I saw a contest by Cheerios, and it was called the New Author Contest. So they wanted someone who wasn't published, which I wasn't. So I entered that contest, the story One Zany Zoo, which at the time was called One Wacky Zoo, and it was the very first story I'd ever written when I decided to become a published book author. And I won the contest. So what they did, Simon Schuster made this hardcover book. Colin Jack illustrated it. Then what they did, which was really cool, is they shrunk it down and made these paperbacks, which were also in Spanish, Uno Zu Loco, and put them inside 2.2 million boxes of Cheerios. So this is what the Cheerios look like. That's a 10-year-old box of Cheerios, so don't eat them. They put the book in the front so kids could see it and know to buy that box. Then they told about the contest on the back. My picture was on the box. It was very, very cool. So that was a really exciting way to get my first book published. Anyways, without further ado, let me read One Zany Zoo. I want to thank Simon & Schuster for letting me share this on YouTube, and it can stay up until June 30th. And I want to thank Colin Jack for being such an amazing illustrator. He drew a lot of illustrations that I didn't even mention in the story. He told a lot of funny jokes through his illustrations. So if you get a chance to look at this book more closely, you'll see there are a lot of funny illustrations that Colin Jack drew that had nothing to do with me. I mean, I suppose the story inspired them, but he came up with a lot of stuff on his own. Anyways, without further ado, which I think I said before, One Zany Zoo, written by me, Lori Degman, illustrated by Colin Jack. This is the title page, and that was a sticker that was on the first editions when it was published for the first time. It's now in its 5th printing, which is pretty exciting. Okay. While you stood here waiting with nothing to do, I snuck through the gate and into the zoo. You'll never believe what I saw, what I heard. I swear it's the truth, every last word. One fearless fox grabbed the zookeeper's key and used it to set all the animals free. The zookeeper chased him, but Fox kept his cool and splash landed right in the walrus's pool. You might have noticed that this is a rhyming story and it's also a counting story. 2 sporty zebras in goggles and flippers were snipping the walrus's whiskers with clippers. One did the combing, the other the trimming. They swept up the clippings, then all 4 went swimming. 3 fussy beavers cooked chili for lunch. They also baked cornbread and mixed a fruit punch. They seasoned and tasted till each one agreed, then called, "Come and get it," and caused a stampede. A stampede is when all the animals run and it sounds like thunder. 4 anxious elephants packed up their trunks to flee from their neighbors, a family of skunks. P.U. They tried wearing clothespins to block out the smell, but that didn't help, so they bid them farewell. 5 clever chimps waited high in the trees and watched as the zookeeper searched for his keys. He peeked behind bushes and underneath rocks, and when he gave up, they high-fived the fox. I tried to imagine what else they had planned. Then somebody hollered, "Come hear the new band." 6 groovy roos tapped the beat with their shoes, and laughing hyenas sang rhythm and blues. A lizard in sunglasses wailed on the sax as monkeys kept time on the box turtles' backs. 7 sad hippos were making repairs from damage they caused playing musical chairs. The music stopped playing. They scrambled to sit. Didn't they know they were too big to fit? Now here's what I'm talking about, Colin Jack. Look at that picture. That's one of my favorite pictures. It's so funny. He is one funny guy. Oh, there's a bird carrying the fox, and the fox has the keys. There's a lot of detail, so if you do get a chance to look at this more closely, you'll see a lot of fun stuff. 8 pompous peacocks were proud as can be while strutting their stuff for the whole zoo to see. They primped and they preened to get just the right looks as fans gathered round holding autograph books. 9 fickle leopards were waiting in lines to trade in their spots for some fresh new designs. They chose among triangles, diamonds, and squares, rectangles, ovals, or star shapes to wear. And you can see Colin Jack drew a lot more shapes than I even mentioned. And there's the zookeeper chasing the fox at the top. Such great art in this book. 10 rowdy bears led a big zoo parade. The animals modeled the costumes they'd made. They waved to the crowd from the traveling stages. The zookeeper shouted, "Get back to your cages!" Ooh, he's a pretty scary guy. He locked the last cage at 9:01, then tossed me outside and said, "Get back in line." Now here's another thing Colin drew. See the fox fishing the keys out of his pocket? So I bet we're going to see some animals at the end. Yep, he let them all out again. It may sound outrageous, but one thing is true. When nobody's looking, that's one Zany Zoo. The end. And I love the back cover too. Colin did such a great job. Well, I hope you liked One Zany Zoo. I really loved writing it, and I love reading it to kids. And I'm stuck in my house too, so I'm not able to read it at schools or bookstores, which I love to do. So, if you like this and you want to do some of your own writing, then I have an idea. You can write your own rhyming couplet, or you can just write 1 line or 2 lines. They don't have to rhyme, about an animal. So when I wrote this story, I thought about a giraffe and its long neck, or an elephant and its big ears, or a tiger and its spots. Oh, tiger has stripes. A leopard and its spots. And then I tried to think of funny things I could say about what they did. So if you're interested in writing and or illustrating some pictures like that, you can send them to me at Lori@loridegman.com, and that's going to be written down below in the description of this video. And I would love to see them, and I will respond to everyone who writes to me. So I hope that some of you will take the opportunity to do that. I know you've got time because we're all socially distancing. And in a few days, I'll be reading my next book, which was published a couple years later, called Cock-a-Doodle Oops, which is one of my favorites. So hopefully I'll see you in a couple days reading Cock-a-Doodle Oops. Bye. Thanks.